All right, jumping in. We looks like we have a Sean Ward taking on James Pham. James is actually rocking the starter deck Kaido, a favorite from me. If anyone knows me, absolutely love that deck in set one. And it looks like that Sean is going to be giving us another Zoro. So I'm happy to get 50% of a different leader on stream. I mean, as long as it's not the same two that we saw before, I'm more than happy to bring out some fresh, new quality content for everyone. And I'm actually very excited to see Kaido do well and obviously come into this kind of matchup itself. So going to do the dice roll here. We're going to see who gets to go first or second. Kaido usually wants to go second. That looks like a nice 5 roll. And it is good enough to take over Zoro. So if Kaido ends up going first here, which I imagine he would, just praying that he sees Onigashima Island. If he doesn't mulligan, he's seen it. But can really start to play his game as long as he hits that card.
Yeah, it just turns on so much that Kaido wants to do, and it just allows him to kind of gain a lot of advantage. From Sean's point of view, he's probably looking for his rush cards early on. He wants to get Kaido to as low as life as possible before some of these big bodies start coming out. And looks like both players are opting to take a second roll and see if they can find the cards that they need.
It's a bit scary when you do this mulligan, isn't it, Ryan? Because you're just like, you're leaving it all into obviously the heart of the cards, you know, what the deck is all about. Like, you know, you didn't see one card you really wanted. Obviously, I feel like it's a lot easier for Zoro to mulligan than it is Kaido, because I've been in this position before. I played Kaido religiously in OP1. You don't, like, you're leaving it up to now. The only 5 cards that matter, you need to see Island. Like, you don't have another choice now. You need to see it.
Yeah, and you know, coming from a background of a card game that allows a selective mulligan, it can be really punishing to open your hand of 5 cards to see, you know, 3 okay cards that you need later on, but you miss out on the card that you really want, and you have to send them all back and, you know, take a chance on not seeing anything.
Yeah. It actually shows here, Kaido opted to go second after winning the dice roll before seeing hand, of course, and Zoro gets to go first, sees the top 5 Nami and grabs a Nico Robin.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see whether James has stuff to play on turn 2, or
yeah. There's the domino coming down, just a normal blocker. I think usually in the Kaido deck you run about 6 to 8 2-cost blockers, and then obviously you've got Queen, very, very strong card. Obviously not knowing what way they opt to run these decks, we won't know until we get there, but yeah, multiple ways to kind of to play these blockers to make sure you kind of get to the turn you want to get to. Using Domino to block straight away, knowing that, you know, probably will get removed later on anyway. Opponent obviously gets to play the Nico Robin with 3, gets rid of the blocker, and he's quite happy with it. Now the question is, James, does he have it? No. Okay, this is, if any Kaido players are in chat or anyone watching this on a VOD, you know the feel. You know how heartbreaking it is when you get to your second turn and you do not tap 3 to play Onigashima Island.
Especially against red, you know, you're probably not too concerned about it against like a deck that's a bit slower, but against red, it's just so punishing to miss it. Unless he's opting to, you know, leave the 2 up for Hell's Judgment to kind of mitigate the damage of the leader and Robin, which would be a pretty interesting play just to maintain that high life, and not give his opponent the opportunity to put in a lot of pressure. Obviously, tapping 3 for the island just leaves him with 1 Don available.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting to see, you know, perhaps James has got a bit more of a game plan than what we give him credit for.
I mean, Sean on the other side, dropping the triple Nami so far, you know, in this game is kind of gross. Nico Robin swinging for 5, not really needing any any investment here, Ryan. He just puts one under the leader, obviously brings it to 5, doesn't need to put any more Don on, doesn't need the effect. Your opponent doesn't have anything on the field anyway. There you go. It is the Hell's Judgment, like you mentioned, but he does have to put the Don back to the Don deck, so bringing him back down to now he'll be on 4 Don next turn.
5.
5, sorry.
Yeah, and now you've got to decide where to kind of put the minus. Obviously, you want to lead towards the Nico and the leader.
Of course.
But that 2 Don will probably go under, okay, all right, so opts to swing with the leader instead. I thought maybe, yeah, there might be a combination of putting the Don under the Nami to get another 5k swing.
I think he's just kind of building up the board now, making sure that he's got multiple available when he wants to kind of do the damage. And now it's going to be interesting again. Coming back down to James's turn, just puts 1 underneath, gets rid of the Nico Robin, plays a domino for 2. Still not seeing the island.
Another pass.
I'm still not seeing the island here, Ryan. This is becoming really brutal now for James. Just trying to like obviously hold out until he does see it, but every turn that goes past without seeing island, it just makes you feel like such pain, like I guess every turn. And the problem does come to a point where you're sitting on like 6, 8 Don and you still haven't played it. You know, it feels bad to play it that late. And now Vista's just going to get rid of Domino and bringing Sean back into the prime position now. I mean, yeah, 2 for Brook being able to use those Don now to put it onto a Nami. So there's a 5k swing coming in. He might have another Hell's Judgment in hand. He does have 2 Don available, but doesn't.
Yeah, that would be another -1 again. And the problem that you have here is that even if you do have some kind of effect to KO some of the cards on the field, there's just so many low-cost cards that can start attacking now that there's just a whole lot of 5k attacks with the spread of the Don.
And this is the reason why Kaido obviously falls off set 2 like so quickly. You don't see Island, and there's no game plan here. Like, even though he does get some nice cards, like, you know, obviously you play the Jailer Beast combo, and it does get like Hell's Judgment and stuff like that. It just makes it super, super difficult to play the game if you don't see the field, and having 0 ways to search it, no trigger to be able to obviously pick it off life and then play it if you do hit it. And then obviously, you know, the deck virtually revolves around Don manipulation. It sucks, man. Like, it actually does. Like, you can't play your game if you don't see Island. It's as simple as that. Like, as straightforward as that is. Like, he's obviously able now to play King. That's going to be able to get rid of two cards on there, but
gets rid of 1 and he swung into the Nami with his leader.
It's a 4-cost 1, not the 3 and the 2. Okay.
Yeah. This is the starter deck King. But the problem with Kaido now is, obviously not having the Island, is that all of his minus effects just gone straight back to the deck. Yeah, exactly. It sets him back that Don, and he just doesn't have the largest hand to be able to mitigate the damage of just, even if Zoro just opted to swing 4 times here with his characters and his leader, but looks like it's just going to be a Whitebeard here to bring himself up, and that Whitebeard is really going to put a lot of pressure up from the following turns.
Yeah.
The only thing really being able to remove this would be a 10-cost Kaido, which, we're still a couple of turns away from. Absolutely. With all of the minus effects.
Yeah, he's a full turn behind now, Ryan. He's obviously put that back, and now he's got 8 Don.
If we see any kind of minus effect, then he's just another turn away from being able to play that card out.
And I think like this could be like the next turn coming in for Sean. This could be his win turn. I mean, I'm looking at like the situation that he's in. Obviously, you put a Don under the leader. Both Namis go to 3. The Vista goes to 4. Oh, he's found it. I mean, that's like 3 turns too late, though. It's just, you know, you've now used, this is why I don't like playing it very, very late on, right, Ryan? The problem is now he's used 3 to get it out.
Yeah.
And you've already, like, you're in a spot where you're staring down Whitebeard SR, Vista, 2 Namis, and the leader. Your opponent's going to go on to 10 Don. Yeah, he's
Zoro's
rubbing his hands. He's just like, cool, man. You want to pay 3 for Island? Like, I don't care. And the other thing is, he's got no cards in rest,
Yeah.
but he doesn't care. He's not even going to take the life.
Yeah, he's at a 7k base with his leader. He's got 4 life to spare with anyway, so he's in no threat of the leader effect. And Kaido opts to just leave the 5 Don inactive for his event cards.
Pain. Nothing but pain, man. And this is why people opt to go and run Zoro. Look how consistent it constantly gets. You know, again, you see one Nami, and the rest of it you can kind of like be comfortable with. You see a Curly, it's all good. You know,
Yeah.
it's just so consistent, and there's so many good things that you can grab from both Curly and Nami. It's a reason why it dominates, you know, region to region, and why people play it. I mean, the leader is so generically good too, and there's so many good low cost cards to play with it, right? Like now, look at Vista. Not only does he KO something off the board when he's played, for one Don under his lead and that card, it's a 5k swing.
Yeah, and it just every swing that's 5k will just eat another card out of Kaido's hand until he's in a position where he can just win the game, basically. And we see another Hell's Judgment, puts the one back. We're able to minus something here. Assumably, we're going to minus the leader and
Yeah,
most likely the Vista, just so that he doesn't have to waste another card to get out of the attack.
looks like he's looking into his hand to see if he actually does have combo to get out of that one, but no, it doesn't really look like it, does it?
Yeah, so leader and Vista are both minus now. And now we see the power of Rush, just being able to establish something onto the field and attack with it immediately. This is just going to be one big attack, and from next turn, yeah, even a 10-drop Kaido here is still going to be very punishing for himself, just being able to have to tap out and have no Don available the following turn.
Agree.
Zoro just put so much pressure on early that, yeah, he's still in a very comfortable position.
You play a 10-drop Kaido here, and then you're right. You just play a rush, and then you swing with lead, and you're probably done. Like you just don't really care too much. Like it's really the spot that James has put himself in, based on the fact that he couldn't see Island. Just really, yeah. It's such an uphill struggle from that point. Now it's
yeah. We see the 10-drop come down. See the Don minus, and he does need to rest those Don. They're not inactive. Hopefully the players will pick this up. Might just jump in and just let him know to rest those Don.
yeah. I'm not sure what he's. Quickly give them a.
Sorry, James. Do you mind just resting the 4 Don that you have inactive? Yeah, yeah. Yeah, we'll just clear it up, just so that it's the right game state. You know, those 4 Don were definitely used.
Yeah, and you don't want, obviously, you know, you can see here Sean is obviously going in to kind of put some pressure on, and now he's going to tap 5, going to play another rush Luffy. It's going to be swinging in. If he puts that last on underneath, it's 8. Decides not to, goes for the 7. Still a.
Yeah, I think this is just to get some cards out of hand. It's not necessarily about winning. Oh, geez. Yeah, it's not necessarily about winning this this turn. It just pretty much puts a lot of pressure on to win the following turn. Yeah, unless James starts pulling out another flurry of blockers, it's going to be very difficult for him to find a way to get past all these attacks.
He's on critical life here, so any swing that comes through from your opponent next turn, and you can tell that Sean's pretty comfortable with like the situation that he's in.
Yeah.
Going to use the Kaido to now swing into the Rush Luffy.
Yeah, you can't have that card on the field.
No,
It just guarantees a win, basically. Any kind of blocker is just mitigated by this Luffy.
I think here, if James doesn't play a blocker down, I feel like if you're Sean, you just put 10 under the leader anyway and swing for 15.
Absolutely, yeah. Queen doesn't have rush, so it doesn't need to be in rest. Hopefully the players... He's kept his Don inactive, he's got his Queen in rest.
Yeah.
James, you're playing in reverse world. But yeah, you definitely don't want that card in rest mode.
No,
obviously, that's gonna
save you.
Keep you that card. You need that card in active mode to live through the following turn.
Absolutely. Has to discard one card from hand. He's just trying to pick out which one it is.
Yeah, and yeah, there you go. We realized, yeah.
If you had to play a blocker in rest, don't play it. Get that out of the deck is all I would say.
Yeah, okay. Pitches the Hell's Judgment, so... Oh, sorry, that's the Thunder Bogua, isn't it? Yeah.
Yep.
So there has to be some kind of event cards in Kaido's hand as well, to kind of mitigate this attack, because even Brook can potentially close out this game with a separation of Don.
Interesting here, like if he had a domino or another blocker that he could have played, like Black Maria or something like that, with the two that was available, doesn't seem like he either had it in hand or he's opting for the Hell's Judgment to maybe be stronger than a blocker. But in this position...
We saw two of them get countered away in the previous attack.
Wow.
Jet Pistol, yeah. And now the remaining 6 onto the lead, probably. He's going to split it up.
Well, he's just thinking about it now, obviously. He's trying to calculate how much cards he has in his hand. Obviously, there is 2 Don that are still available. And he's deciding to play them all on now, going for game. Yeah. If this happens, it happens.
You don't want to... Yeah, that's why you don't want to split it over the 2. You don't want to have
Absolutely.
2 low plus attacks that just get mitigated by. But James is able to live through the turn.
Yeah. Plays 2 Sardis and the Hell's Judgment. That's 6k combo power.
Yeah.
Gets out of it. Is that equal? Oh, no, because he... The Hell's Judgment negs 2k for 2 things, right?
I believe it's 3.
Oh, okay. That makes more sense. Yeah. And yeah, going back...
So that would, bring him down to 8, and then the 2 2Ks to bring Kaido up to 9 to get him out of the attack. 2 cards in hand for Kaido. Still a lot of Don to work with, but 3 cards now after the draw for turn.
Yeah.
But you're still just relying on so many blockers to be able to try and survive.
Absolutely. Like, what do you... Yeah, like, depending on his hand size here, he's going to play the Searcher, going to look at top 5, grab an Impel Down card. If he does end up finding a Domino, not too bad. Like, you feel a little bit more comfortable. Or even the Jailer Beast, he finds a Sardi. So Sardi is still good here. Might still be able to play the Mini Koala if he has it in hand. Not a bad two card play if you can manage to get to your next turn here.
It's probably too far gone.
Yeah. Without a blocker, you really are not going to be able to do much here at all. So yeah, you can tell here James is just thinking about what his plan of attack is. And yeah, if he doesn't... I mean, Sardi's a nice 2k counter, but...
Just not going to be enough to really save him. And yeah, even just swinging to life here, just able to put that pressure on and hope to live through the turn. But you just don't want to give your opponent more cards in hand as well. If he starts finding Rush Zoro and things like that, it's just insult to injury, isn't it?
It's always hard when you put yourself down to 0 life. Like anything that swings at you is coming in for lethal now. Like it just goes for game, right? You don't have that backup where you take the last life or you've got one left and you're just like, okay, you know, I probably have to take this here. Like I have an option. Like, you know, maybe that card will help me out, 2k counter, maybe a trigger. But when you put yourself down to 0 and you know that anything that's coming at anything at 5k is going in for lethal and
Yeah.
oh man. I mean, it doesn't have combo power. So like it's a dead card in hand anyway. But yeah, I mean he can get rid of the Brook.
Yeah, I don't know if he. I think he's just trying to work out how much Don has been used.
Well, it's been
So he's obviously used the one. Yeah, he's obviously used the one, and then the
for the Hannibal, and then 6 for the King.
Yeah,
and yeah, that's gone now. So he's got 2 available. He had to Negadon, which came from the island anyway. Gonna swing 5k at lead, trying to just do some chip damage, but again, there's no blocker
Zoro
on the field, right?
Yeah.
I don't think you're getting out of this next swing. Like you just put 10 Don underneath Zoro, 15k. Your opponent has 2 cards in hand.
Oh yeah, he's only got 2 cards, doesn't he? Yeah.
2 cards,
so even
yeah, the blocker would have helped you, but exactly, like you just put 10 underneath, go 15k, and that's it. Yeah. GG. Round number 3 going towards Sean Ward playing Zoro, and that's again would have been interesting to see how that plays out if Kaido does see Island a lot earlier. It seems like he recovered very well, but imagine being able to get that 10 cost Kaido out like 3 turns earlier. Makes that much of a difference.
It's so punishing just because Red doesn't really have a comfortable way to remove it.
Exactly.
And it almost guarantees a damage, doesn't it? It's just
really
such
does.
a strong card.
It really does, and that's where it kind of comes into the consistency that we're talking about these decks and stuff like that. You know, the fact that, you know, he's able to kind of play his cards and see everything that he needs and constantly be able to put pressure on, and whereas Kaido really relies on one field card that if you don't see it, you don't see it. Too bad, so sad. That's where it comes to. So, you know, there's a reason why people play Kaido, and there's a reason why Red is so strong right now, and we've just witnessed it. And I'm sure that's not the last time we're going to witness it today, Ryan. But that is it from us for round number 3, guys. It looks like that did only go for about half the allocated time for this round. We'll have about a 15, 20-minute break before we jump into round number 4. But guys,
there is a break after this round. So round 4 will actually commence at 1 o'clock. So about 50 minutes from now.
50 minutes, and thank you for figuring that one out, Ryan. So that's 50 minutes until we get back into the next round, guys. We're going to take a break ourselves and get some lunch. Wherever you're watching from, let it be morning, evening, or afternoon. Get yourself some snacks or some lunch or breakfast or dinner, whatever you guys feel, because, yeah, we will be back in about 50 minutes with round number 4. And then we'll be jumping into to see, I guess, a few more undefeated players and figure out where the meta's kind of shaping up for this game today. But thank you so much, guys, for tuning in so far. We'll catch you guys soon.